Today I'm going to show you a tool that will allow you to remove the background off of your images for free. So you don't have to send your pictures to the cloud, to somebody else's computer for processing. Everything, all the background removal stays on your computer, which means you don't have to deal with any token limits or anything like that. You can remove an infinite amount of backgrounds. In Affinity, you do have AI credits. You can remove background, but you have to be paying for their pro subscription, which if you don't want to do that, here's a free background removal tool and that works out great. So first I'm going to show you how to remove the background, and then I'm going to show you the workflow in Affinity and how I like to use it. And in order to remove the background, you need two tools. You need Comfy UI and Affinity, of course, which is just what I'm using. So this is Comfy UI. It's basically, you can think of it as a node-based AI workflow tool. And this isn't a tutorial on how to download Comfy UI or install it. I'll leave a link in the description to the GitHub page, but you got to install it and get to this point. When you do have it installed and opened, all you're going to do is come over here and click Templates and search for background. And this ByRefNet remove background, this is the template that we're going to use. So just click on that and it will pop up this error message. That's just because the picture isn't downloaded. So we're just going to dismiss that. If you do see red highlights around anything else, then you might need to download extra nodes. To do that, come up here to the extensions button and come down here in the workflow to missing nodes. And if there's any missing nodes in the workflow, they'll show up here so you can download them, restart Comfy UI, and then you're good to go. Now, the next thing you need to do is click on this link here. It'll open up a page in your web browser and automatically download the model that is used to remove the background. Once that's downloaded, copy this file structure in your file explorer and put this model that we downloaded into the background removal tool. So in your Comfy UI, there's going to be a models folder. You're going to create a new folder called background removal, just like this. Put this model in there. And then when you refresh Comfy UI again, you can quit and then reopen it. It will automatically be loaded in this page here, just like that. So with that out of the way, we can drag a picture into this load image node, which I already have some here. And all we have to do is click run on the bottom, and it's going to do its thing and remove the background. As far as I know, this is pretty lightweight. You do need a relatively powerful computer. I feel like if you have a mid-range computer, then you can do this just fine. But as you can see, this removed the background pretty quickly, and it gives us an image and it gives us a matte, which is pretty useful. So if we zoom in here, we can see that it did a pretty good job all around. There's a little bit of, blurriness in the hair strands and a lot of glowiness around there, but honestly, this is a pretty solid start for a free background removal tool. I have a couple other examples here, so here's just another one. We'll see how this does. And this system is pretty easy as well. And we can see the matte and we can see the removal. So around here, like these solid edges, even this blurry part of the shoe, it did a really good job. Hair is always tricky, and so it's a little rough in the hair, but I think that's a pretty good background removal overall. Now, something to keep in mind is that your subject does kind of have to be pretty obvious in order for it to remove the background. So we have this image here. It's a large image, so it's going to take a little bit longer. But if you look at this picture, the AI might struggle to figure out exactly what the subject is and what to remove the background from. So if we look over here, there was nothing. It wasn't able to detect anything, and so nothing got removed. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. There needs to be some type of subject for it to remove the background from. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this chair through the background removal, and I like to customize this node group a little bit. And it's very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on an open part of the canvas here, and I'm just going to search for convert mask to image, this one right here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to drag this up here, and then I'm going to take this mask and just drag it into the green circle, and then take this image output and click on save image, just like that. So what I'm doing is I'll be taking this mask and I'll be saving it into my Comfy UI folder. So taking a look at this chair, this is a pretty good looking mat here. That's a good mask. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to run this again, and since it already removed the background, it's just going to output it directly into my Comfy UI folder. So I've saved it. So it is now saved on my computer, this picture, and I can use it for whatever type of file or design that I want. Now there's one more that I want to do, but I want to disable this by hitting Control or Command M. You can also, I believe, come into here and bypass also works, Control B. M is to mute it, but I also want to run, what picture was it? This one. So I'm just going to run this through the background removal tool. I'm giving you plenty of options to see how this works and how well it does. And on these hard edges like this chair, I think it's really solid. But even looking at this one, like that's a pretty good background removal. Honestly, solid. So I'm going to re-enable this node, run it, it will save the output, and now we're going to hop back into Affinity. So here we are back in Affinity, and I've dragged in the mask created in Comfy UI. Now this picture I've already placed and have rearranged, and so I want to keep it where it is, but this mask has to go completely on top of this picture in order to make it mask the car and everything exactly how I expect it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the picture first, and then I'll click on my mask, and then I'll come up into this menu here, the alignment menu. You won't have all these ones next to it, that's just me. And I'm going to click on both of these buttons and click apply. Then I'm going to hold on to it again, and I'm going to click these two buttons, but I'm going to click on first selected, make sure it's aligned to the first selected so that it's going to align to the proper photo. So I'm clicking my picture first, and then I'm clicking my mask, and then I'm aligning it to the first selected. Now in my layers panel over here, I want to make sure that my black and white mask is above my photo. I'm going to right click it and then click on rasterize to mask, and we can see that the background is now removed from my picture. So what we'll do here is we'll click on this, and I'm going to hover it over the thumbnail of the layer below it of the picture, and that will attach the mask, use it as a clipping mask on the photo, just like that. So now if I draw a rectangle like this, move it to the bottom, we can see that the background has been removed from our photo, which is super cool. If I shift click on the mask, it will remove it, and it's looking pretty great, just like that. So I'm going to remove this rectangle now, and then in terms of the design here, I can really customize this however I want. So if I zoom in, and honestly it did a really good job on the hair, but what I could do is control click on the thumbnail of the picture that is masked, and then it will select all of the opaque pixels. Any pixels that have transparency, it will select them. And then if I go into my pixel mode up here and I select my magic wand or hit W, I can then come up to the top toolbar and click refine, where I can refine the mask a bit. And it totally screwed this up here, but I'm pretty happy with how it looks, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. All right, now in terms of this design, what I want to do is remove the mask from this one. I'm going to move this underneath that one, and I'm going to select my crop tool, and I'm just going to crop. I'm going to create a cool effect by cropping the image a little bit. Bring it in the corners. I have these guides here to help me. So it gives this cool effect of the car and the lady's boots coming out of the frame, which is really cool. And then another cool thing that I want to do, if I'm going to make this like a layout, I'm going to draw a shape here. That'll go here, and then it will trace up to here, and then go up like this. And I just need to grab this, and holding Option, when I drag it, it will free it up for me. There we go. Pretty cool. I'm going to right click, convert this to a text frame, and I'm just going to insert filler text for now. And I want to customize this. The text is a little big, so Control Shift or Command Shift, and then the bracket keys, or not bracket, but the caret keys, or the comma and period, I can change the size. So I can do that, or I can just select it. I'm gonna take it down to like, I think 4. 4 is probably about good. And now what I'll do is I'll select the top picture, come into text, text wrap, show text wrap settings, and I'm going to select tight. So now the text is inside this little window created from the car doors and the lady standing, and it's wrapping around her head, which is pretty cool. Another thing that I want to do, there's this border around the text frame. I don't like that, so I'm going to click on this, come into my text frame options, and just disable the stroke. There we go. Now we've made a pretty cool looking layout with a background that we removed completely for free. Now there's another application that I might want to use this in. So here's a product page that I designed for this chair, and we already removed the background from this chair, but I want this just to be on a plain white canvas. So I dragged my mask in, and it is huge. I'm just going to scale this down, and now I'll click on this picture, come up into this menu. I'm going to click on both of these. Oh, you know what? I forgot to click on this. So click on the picture, click on the mask, then come up to this menu. Click both of those buttons to apply it, and then we're going to align it like so. There we go. Now I want to put this directly on top of my image, like this. Let's get rid of that. And I'm going to right click it, rasterize to mask, and then drag the mask on top of the thumbnail, just like that. And now we have the chair removed from the background. That is how you remove the background from images for free. Now, the nice thing about using this method is you can customize the mask. So here's what I mean. We'll take this example from a picture that we did earlier, and it did an okay job, but on the hair, there was a lot of fixing that we need to do. So the thing is, we're actually able to do it by masking and removing the background in this way, because I can select a brush and I can customize the mask. So I might just want to completely cut out like these hairs here and try and do something myself. So, or come in here and try and just really finely go through and remove all of this extra stuff. I don't know fully why it makes it so pixelated. As you can see, this mask is super pixelated. If you really wanted to, the nice thing is you have the option and ability to come through and fix things like this. Or let's see if it'll work this time. If I control click and select on everything, I can then refine this mask by selecting on the hair. And sometimes this does a better job. So let's see how that does here. And then I can select my mask to paint over it. and it did all right this time. We added a little bit more in this area here. So just to show you how we use this in Affinity, this is how I use it in Affinity. Creating a mask that we can customize is super awesome and makes it way more versatile. So I hope that made sense. I'm very new to making tutorials and explaining things like this, so I hope that you can understand how to do this type of stuff, because you can make cool stuff with it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out.